Timothy Ross Armstrong, born on the 25th of November 1965 at the age of 5, Armstrong met Matt Freeman while playing Little League Baseball. They grew up a few blocks apart in Albany, California, where Armstrong lived with his mother, father, and older brother named Jeff. Freeman and Armstrong formed bands many years later based on their shared love of bands such as The Clash and the Ramones, and they both went to Albany High School. Basic Radio was founded in 1985 and included Matt Freeman and Tim Armstrong. The band never released any albums or EPs, but recorded demos and were featured on local compilations. 2 years later, they broke up and Operation Ivy was founded shortly after. In 1987, along with singer Jesse Michaels, bassist Matt Freeman, and drummer Dave Mello, Armstrong formed the ska punk band Operation Ivy and enjoyed modest success before the group disbanded in 1989, the same night the album was released. In January 1988, the band signed to Lookout Records and released its debut 7-inch record titled Hectic, which became one of Lookout's best-selling records. By this time, Operation Ivy, along with Crimp Shrine and the Mr. T Experience, was one of the most successful bands from the punk scene at 924 Gilman Street. The band began playing a number of performances and embarked on a tour across the United States. By mid-1988, the group began selling out larger venues, and the pressure to sign to major labels began to rise. With a budding reputation as an excellent live band, EMI offered Operation Ivy a major label deal. Unsure of how to react to the prospect of success, both because of their independent politics and local-mindedness, the band chose to break up rather than compromise their intentions. Dancehall Crashers, named after the Alton Ellis song Dance Crasher, was formed in 1989 by Armstrong and Matt Freeman, after both musicians expressed an interest in starting a band rooted in more traditional ska and rock steady than what they had been playing with Operation Ivy. The first lineup featured Armstrong on vocals and Freeman on guitar, as well as drummer Eric Larson, keyboardist Joey Schaff, vocalist Andrew Champion, guitarist Grant McIntyre, and bassist Joel Wing. The band played their first show at 924 Gilman Street in Berkeley in 1989. Shortly after their debut, Freeman and Armstrong left to pursue other interests. Downfall featured Armstrong, Freeman, and Mello, as well as Mello's brother Pat and Jason Hammond. Pat and Jason would both play guitar while Armstrong took up duties on vocals. They lasted 3 months, playing only at a few parties, and twice at Gilman they released one song on Maximum Rock and Rolls, They Don't Get Paid, They Don't Get Laid But Boy Do They Work Hard compilation, one song on David Hayes' Very Small World compilation, one song on Lookout Records' Can of Pork compilation, and recorded a demo. It disbanded when Freeman joined MDC on bass while Armstrong was a roadie for the band, while Pat and Dave went on to form Schlong. Rancid is an American punk rock band formed in Berkeley, California in 1991, founded by Tim Armstrong and Matt Freeman, as being among the wave of bands that revived mainstream interest in punk rock in the United States during the mid-1990s. A few months after the band's inception, Rancid began performing around the Berkeley area and quickly developed a fan following. Rancid's first recorded release was a 1992 EP for Operation Ivy's old label Lookout Records. Shortly after releasing the extended play, the band left Lookout and was signed to Bad Religion guitarist Brett Gurewitz's record label Epitaph Records, and Rancid released its self-titled debut album through Epitaph in 1993. While Rancid was writing for a follow-up album, Billie Joe Armstrong joined them to co-write the song Radio, which resulted in Armstrong playing a live performance with Rancid. Tim had previously asked Lars Frederiksen to be Rancid's second guitarist, but he turned down the request initially, as he was playing with the UK subs at the time. After Billie Joe turned down the request, Frederiksen changed his mind and joined Rancid. Their new band, Rancid, would eventually go on to become one of the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful punk rock bands of all time. He was married to musician Brody Dalle from 1997 to 2003. They met in 1995 when Dalle was 16 and Armstrong was 30. After Rancid and Dalle's band Sourpuss both played Summersault Festival in Australia. In 1997, when Dalle was 18, she moved to Los Angeles to live with Armstrong, and she formed the band The Distillers. The couple separated in 2003 after Armstrong saw a picture of Dalle kissing Queens of the Stone Age frontman Josh Homme in an issue of Rolling Stone magazine. She and would later marry. Claimed he received death threats from Armstrong's fans. Dalle claimed Armstrong was very controlling of her. and it took her 3 years to leave him. Some of Rancid's songs on 1998's Life Won't Wait detail Armstrong and Dalle's relationship, and songs on 2003's Indestructible deal with Armstrong's feelings about his divorce. In 1999, Armstrong invited roadie Rob Aston to add lyrics to some solo material that Armstrong had been creating in his basement, and the two worked together writing and recording music. They formed the group Transplants with drummer Travis Barker, and released their self-titled debut album on October 2002. A second Transplants album, Haunted Cities, was released on June 2005. The Transplants breakup was confirmed by Rob Aston on January 2006, when he told a reporter that the group had split. However, Barker later announced that the trio was working on a new album. They played their first show since 2006 on Conan to promote Barker's new solo album, on which the song Saturday Night is featured. It was announced in November 2011 on the Transplants' official Facebook page that their new album would be finished in December 2011. Their latest album, entitled Take Cover, was released October 2017 on Epitaph Records. In 2007, he released his first solo album entitled A Poet's Life with the Agrolites as his backing band. The track from that album, Into Action, was reported as the #1 most played and requested in 2007 on then XM satellite radio channel Fungus 53. In 2012, he launched a side project under the name Tim Timebomb, initially releasing a download-only album entitled Tim Timebomb Sings Songs from Rock and Roll Theater, containing songs from his musical film series. Since October 2012, he has released a series of songs via YouTube at a rate of 1 track each day starting on October 2012. These songs make up a series of download-only singles. To date, more than 200 tracks have been released, a mixture of original compositions, covers, and reworkings of his previous songs, including those of Rancid. In March 2023, Armstrong announced the formation of a new band called Bad Optics that featured his former Operation Ivy bandmate Jesse Michaels, Circle Jerks drummer Joey Castillo, and Trash Talk bassist Spencer Pollard. The group released their first single called Raid, and Armstrong promised tons more songs to come. Armstrong said, "I always felt a little sadness that Jesse and I stopped making music together, but we never lost touch, and then it happened. A few years ago we started writing songs again. A couple of the songs ended up on Grade 2's record. Jesse and I just started writing again a lot. It came back. Just like that. Like when we were kids, there is a special chemistry between us, and I don't take it for granted." Less than a week after announcing the formation of the band changed their name to Doom Regulator, due to a band from Seattle already being called Bad Optics.